the Tesla Cybertruck is off to a bumpy start. The electric pickup truck billed as an alternative to traditional pickup model.
The truck that was supposed to break every rule.
The Tesla Cybertruck's launch has been anything but smooth. Envisioned as a groundbreaking alternative to conventional pickups, this electric truck, touted to revolutionize the industry, may have instead unearthed deeper vulnerabilities. When the Cybertruck first debuted, it captured global attention with its sharp angles, stainless steel body, and bold claims of indestructibility. However, beyond the captivating viral demonstrations and futuristic marketing, a less visible narrative has unfolded. This isn't merely about a loose panel or a software glitch. It speaks to fundamental issues embedded in the very construction of these vehicles. Investigations, particularly during comprehensive teardowns, have uncovered disturbing flaws. These issues were grave enough to raise concern in individual vehicles and widespread alarm across numerous units. Internal communications further indicate that these problems were not isolated incidents. Beneath the shiny steel exterior lies a reality Tesla seemingly preferred to keep under wraps, a saga of structural concerns and hidden defects that the company was unlikely eager to reveal. Structural frailty. Beneath the exoskeleton, Tesla enthusiastically promoted the Cybertruck as nearly indestructible, highlighting its 30x cold-rolled stainless steel exoskeleton as a revolutionary leap in vehicle resilience. This steel was claimed to repel small arms fire, withstand sledgehammer blows, and negate the need for traditional crumple zones. Conceptually, the vehicle's outer shell was its ultimate shield, both literally and figuratively. Yet, concealed behind this marketing promise was a critical vulnerability in how these panels were secured, rather than the material itself. The core problem didn't originate from the steel, but from the structural adhesive used for attachment. For instance, the vehicle's A-pillar, a vital support component near the windshield, was merely glued in place with a specialized adhesive, instead of being mechanically fastened or welded. Under various stresses, including routine road vibrations, thermal expansion, or exposure to moisture, this adhesive began to fail. This led to panels loosening or even completely detaching, even during high-speed travel. What was marketed as impenetrable armor swiftly became structurally unstable. Moreover, the inconsistencies observed across different units stemmed directly from the application method of this adhesive. Some areas exhibited minimal adhesion, while others suffered from improper curing or environmental factors like road salt, severely compromising the bond. Internal videos depicting leaks and comprehensive teardowns exposed a worrying trend. This was no isolated defect or even a single flawed production batch. Instead, a broad spectrum of Cybertrucks displayed signs and symptoms of severely deficient bonding. This revelation not only questioned the material integrity, but cast a stark shadow over Tesla's production quality control. Most alarmingly, an adhesive that proved inadequate for purpose fundamentally undermined the entire premise of the Cybertruck's vaunted strength. While stainless steel may resist dents, its utility becomes negligible if panels can simply peel away from highway, wind forces, or rattle loose over time. What genuine protection does such a design truly offer? Was the pursuit of seamless futurism prioritized to the extent of compromising fundamental structural integrity? And if Tesla became aware of inconsistent bonding early on, why were these critical issues not rectified before customer deliveries began? Engineered for conflict, faltering in the suburbs. Just as you might assume the armor constitutes the sole issue, consider its performance in a commonplace suburban parking lot. Pitched as a machine engineered for extremes, tough enough to absorb bullets, conquer Martian landscapes, and navigate post-apocalyptic scenarios, the Cybertruck was described by Elon Musk as apocalypse technology, boasting unparalleled off-road prowess, resilience, and utility during blackouts or catastrophes. However, once the vehicle reached consumers, a starkly different reality emerged. Far from mastering rugged conditions, the Cybertruck struggled with routine driving environments, casting serious doubt on its ability to fulfill even a fraction of its lofty promises. Owners and early testers rapidly reported significant performance issues in everyday situations. Videos circulated showing the truck's wheels spinning helplessly in snowy parking lots, getting bogged down on basic off-road trails, and frequently requiring assistance in scenarios that other trucks navigated with ease. Testers also noted that the truck's immense dimensions, over 6 feet wide and 18 feet long, rendered urban maneuvering and residential driveway navigation exceptionally cumbersome. Its unconventional futuristic shape and limited visibility further complicated basic navigation, particularly in confined or unfamiliar spaces. For a vehicle purportedly designed to endure the end of days, its struggles with mundane trips to the grocery store were particularly telling. Perhaps most unsettling was the disconnect between the vehicle's proclaimed ruggedness and its actual structural foundation. Unlike the robust steel frames characteristic of traditional utility trucks, the Cybertruck utilizes an aluminum undercarriage, a lighter, less rigid material prone to deformation under significant stress. This compromises its utility for towing and hauling, fundamentally eroding one of the core purposes of a pickup truck. What is the value of the most durable electric truck on Earth if it cannot withstand regular, practical use? This disparity raises profound questions about Tesla's design priorities, which appear to have been skewed heavily towards sci-fi aesthetics and shock value, more at home in a Blade Runner set than grounded in practical engineering. Critics argue this design favors image over function, especially when compared to rivals like Rivian's R1T, which consistently demonstrates superior real-world performance. Where will confidence in this vehicle come from if the Cybertruck cannot endure the extreme conditions of winter roads, tight turns, or a simple weekend run to the dump? The chasm between hype and reality is now undeniable. Prohibited, confiscated, and deemed hazardous. While the Cybertruck proudly secured a 5-star safety rating from U.S. authorities such as the NHTSA, this approval did not extend to Europe. In the UK and the wider EU, the vehicle is outright banned from legal road use, citing multiple foundational breaches of pedestrian and vehicle safety standards. British police recently confiscated a privately imported Cybertruck for its failure to possess a certificate of conformity, underscoring the broader issue. The truck simply doesn't meet the safety criteria stipulated by international regulatory bodies. For a vehicle presented as the vanguard of future transportation, its inability to clear basic legal hurdles abroad is profoundly revealing. Among the most critical concerns is the Cybertruck's exterior design, which features exposed, sharp edges. While visually striking, this angular stainless steel poses a significant threat to pedestrians in the event of a collision. European regulations mandate specific minimum edge radii to mitigate injury risk, a standard the Cybertruck demonstrably fails to meet. Furthermore, the vehicle's rigid 30x steel body provides minimal to no energy absorption during impact, a crucial component of contemporary crash safety design. Rather than incorporating crumple zones, the Cybertruck behaves more like a solid battering ram, escalating the danger for other road users. Additional aesthetic features further undermine traditional safety protocols. The Cybertruck's heavy-duty, full-width light strip contradicts several European lighting laws governing brightness, beam angle, and indicator light separation. Adding to these violations, its excessive height and width, coupled with a weight approaching 7,000 Aussie lbs, or 2.2 metric tons, render it inadmissible on numerous European roads where such limits are stringently enforced. These violations are not minor oversights. They expose a fundamental incompatibility between Tesla's design philosophy and globally accepted paradigms of public safety. This represents a profound incongruity. In the USA, Tesla leverages its safety ratings to market the Cybertruck as a high-performance utility vehicle, while in major global EV markets, it is widely perceived as a public hazard. Why was the design not adapted for international compliance? Was this a consideration Tesla overlooked, or did the company consciously disregard global standards in favor of its audacious design? Regardless, the fact that it is banned in Europe severely compromises its viability as a global product and raises serious questions about Tesla's long-term international expansion strategy. Upon its initial reveal, the Cybertruck ignited intense curiosity, awe, and even admiration. Celebrities like Pharrell Williams and Kim Kardashian were photographed with it, and the vehicle swiftly achieved cultural icon status, an aggressive, space-age pickup defying automotive conventions. However, as production models reached customers and flaws began to surface, the narrative profoundly shifted. The Cybertruck transformed from a symbol of bold innovation into an emblem of overpromise, with both owners and observers taking to social media to mock its real-world performance. One of the earliest and most damaging blows to its reputation came from viral videos depicting Cybertruck panels falling off or being effortlessly removed by hand. Footage showcasing warped bodywork, detached exoskeleton components, and improvised repairs flooded platforms like TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. Some users even turned panel removal into online challenges. These clips directly refuted Tesla's messaging of rugged durability, leading many to question whether the vehicle met any meaningful quality standards whatsoever. It has also, frankly, become a visual punchline. Images comparing it to low-polygon video game assets or rudimentary children's projects circulated widely online. Critics openly declared, "This thing cannot be judged as a modern road vehicle. It has more in common with a failed dystopian film prop." Even respected automotive reviewers began labeling it a meme car, an item acquired as much for its ironic novelty as for its supposed functionality. The Cybertruck has been thoroughly discredited in the court of public opinion. Tesla undeniably lost control of its own narrative. The very internet culture that once propelled the company to iconic status now barrages it with derision. What was once an edgy, progressive design that captivated public attention positively has now become a cautionary tale of how swiftly perceptions can sour when promises fail to align with reality. And the chasm between public perception and Tesla's idealized vision has only deepened with each subsequent revelation of flaws and perceived missteps. A prepper's ultimate nightmare. The Cybertruck was pitched as the quintessential survival vehicle, Hiasichiu's, doomsday-ready, all-electric fortress engineered to thrive in chaos. Its stainless steel shell, bioweapon defense mode, and aggressive marketing directly appealed to prepper culture and apocalyptic anxieties. Yet, when survival experts and preppers began to critically assess the vehicle's actual capabilities, their conclusion was unequivocal. The Cybertruck is not built for true off-grid resilience. In fact, many within the prepping community have outright dismissed it as impractical, excessively complex, and dangerously reliant on fragile infrastructure. A paramount concern is its absolute dependence on electronics and software. In a disaster scenario involving an electromagnetic pulse, EMP, or prolonged grid failure, the Cybertruck's reliance on complex computerized systems and constant software updates could render it completely inert. Preppers typically prioritize older, simpler vehicles that can be repaired without external systems or specialized tools. In stark contrast, the Cybertruck's integrated electronics and digital controls demand proprietary diagnostics and likely a Tesla service center, neither of which would be available in a genuine emergency. Another significant problem is the vehicle's sheer size and weight. At nearly 7,000 lbs, the Cybertruck presents considerable challenges in escape scenarios. Its substantial footprint severely compromises maneuverability on narrow rural trails or through disaster-stricken areas where infrastructure is blocked or damaged. While it might be fast on pavement, its mass and low ground clearance are ill-suited for rapid evacuation across varied, unpredictable terrain. Consequently, many preppers view the Cybertruck as more of a liability than a lifeline, particularly when compared to rugged, diesel-powered trucks that can carry ample extra fuel and be repaired with basic hand tools. Even the vehicle's touted ability to power itself off-grid, once a major selling point, is now under scrutiny. While it can undoubtedly run small appliances, most preppers note that very few possess the extensive solar infrastructure required to regularly charge a 3-ton EV in the field. Without grid infrastructure or access to rapid charging, the Cybertruck effectively becomes a 7,000-pound paperweight. The stark irony is that a truck marketed for societal collapse may only function optimally when society itself is operating perfectly. It appears surviving the end of the world might be less challenging than navigating a routine Tuesday in suburbia. Ill-suited for the apocalypse. The Cybertruck was marketed as a go-anywhere, do-anything machine. Tesla positioned it not only as a vehicle prepared for the apocalypse but also as a capable replacement for traditional daily drivers, from hauling equipment to school drop-offs. However, real-world experience suggests it is poorly suited for either extreme. Critics have voiced significant concerns about its realistic range, complex recharging logistics, and its inability to handle daily driving requirements without undue complications. What was envisioned as a groundbreaking utility vehicle is, in practice, proving to be more of a design experiment with limited practical value. One of the most pressing issues is the Cybertruck's range under actual driving conditions. While Tesla claims a range of up to 340 miles, this figure can plummet dramatically in cold weather, when towing heavy loads, or during off-road excursions. In survival or emergency scenarios where power may be scarce and routes unpredictable, the last thing users need is anxiety over whether their oversized electric truck will make it home. Unlike gasoline or diesel vehicles that can carry auxiliary fuel, EVs are entirely dependent on electricity, and portable charging solutions robust enough for a truck of this magnitude are neither affordable nor widely available. It's questionable. Claims of utility in genuine emergency or off-grid situations have been highlighted by NASA engineers and survival experts alike. Their primary concerns revolve around the Cybertruck's weight, complexity, and its susceptibility to both environmental and electronic failures. Some experts noted that despite Tesla's boasts of features like bioweapon defense mode, the vehicle's fundamental systems are not designed to withstand widespread grid failures or EMP attacks. Ironically, the Cybertruck's performance in such critical times might be inferior to that of a standard hybrid or even a well-maintained 30-year-old gas-powered truck. Many also find it inadequately engineered for everyday vehicle use, deeming the model highly inappropriate for typical family needs. Reports cite severe limitations in rearward visibility, poor handling in congested urban environments, and an abominable ride quality. Weighing nearly 7,000 LEBs and stretching over 18 feet, the Cybertruck is, for the most part, simply too much. Pickup for a suburban commute or simple errand. Consequently, whether preparing for societal collapse or merely picking up children, the Cybertruck appears to present more challenges than solutions, caught between its ambitious promises and the stark realities of daily life and disaster planning. As scrutiny intensified over the Cybertruck's reliability, investigators turned their attention to Tesla's manufacturing process. What they uncovered pointed to an issue far deeper than isolated component failures. According to detailed teardown, reports, and internal reviews, the Cybertruck's production was characterized by inconsistent quality, rushed timelines, and a glaring absence of standardization. This wasn't merely a few defective units slipping through. It suggested that the entire production framework was fundamentally ill-suited for a vehicle with such an unconventional design and complex engineering profile. Among the most critical findings were pervasive inconsistencies in weld quality. For a vehicle reliant on structural rigidity for both safety and performance, uneven or incomplete welds pose a grave risk, Some welds displayed visible stress cracks or signs of poor adhesion, indicating severe lapses in quality control. This was particularly problematic given the Cybertruck's sharp-edge design, which demands precise alignment and robust bonding for structural integrity. For a vehicle advertised as a futuristic tank, such manufacturing shortcomings raised profound concerns about its long-term ability to withstand wear, stress, and potential collisions. Further down the assembly line, wiring harness layouts were found to be haphazard. Some harnesses were loosely secured, while others were positioned in ways that significantly increased the risk of chafing against sharp internal edges or heat-generating components. Over time, this could lead to shorts or high-resistance intermittent electrical issues, problems that would be exceedingly difficult to resolve without dismantling the truck's densely packed bodywork. Reports also documented alarming variations in torque measurements during assembly, indicating that bolts securing critical structural components might have been either dangerously under-tightened or excessively over-tightened, thereby compromising both safety and long-term durability. Collectively, these concerns strongly suggest that the Cybertruck was fast-tracked into production by Tesla to meet internal deadlines or investor expectations, seemingly at the expense of sound manufacturing discipline. The vehicle's radical design appears to have outpaced Tesla's actual assembly capabilities, and while software patches can remedy trivial issues, fundamental flaws like poor welding and improper torque cannot be fixed with an over-the-air update. What was intended as the embodiment of Tesla's revolutionary innovation instead illustrates that Cybertruck production was based more on improvisation than precision, raising serious questions about whether the truck was genuinely ready for mass deployment. 10,000 trucks. No one wants, despite years of fervent anticipation and over 1 million early reservations, the Cybertruck has commercially stumbled out of the gate. As of early 2025, reports indicate that Tesla has more than 10,000 unsold Cybertrucks sitting idle in lots across the U.S., representing nearly $800 million in inventory. These figures paint a stark contrast to the vehicle's once-hyped rollout and highlight a dramatic disconnect between initial consumer interest and actual purchasing demand. While initial supply chain constraints explained some of the slow production, the sheer volume of unsold units points to a much deeper underlying issue. The market no longer desires what Tesla is offering. Internationally, the situation appears even direr. Tesla's sales have reportedly plummeted by 75% in the Netherlands, 62% in the UK, and even 6% in China. A particularly concerning sign given the paramount importance of the Chinese EV market to the company's global ambitions. The Cybertruck's failure to comply with European safety regulations has effectively locked it out of the entire continent. But even in regions where it is legally permissible to drive, demand has precipitously declined. Analysts note that potential buyers are being deterred not solely by the vehicle's unconventional design, but by a growing perception that the truck is unreliable, exorbitantly priced, and impractical for everyday use. The company's decision to quietly shift its marketing strategy away from Mars-oriented advertisements and futuristic action shots towards a more conventional, truckish consumer appeal came too late. The damage to its reputation had already been inflicted. To many, the Cybertruck has come to symbolize corporate excess, a vehicle that promised everything but delivered little. The significant price hike, nearly doubling from the initial $40,000 to over $99,000 for certain trims, undoubtedly alienated many early reservation holders who felt misled by the original proposition. The Cybertruck's inventory problems are fundamentally branding problems. After 6 years of cultivating intense consumer excitement, Tesla is now paying the price for unmet expectations and rapidly fading public trust. For a company built on grand announcements and viral product reveals, the quiet accumulation of unsold trucks stands in glaring contrast. Will Tesla manage to regain its footing, Or will the Cybertruck become a cautionary tale of ambition outrunning execution? The resale market echoes an equally grim narrative. Unlike Tesla's earlier models, which frequently appreciated in value due to scarcity and demand, used Cybertrucks are already appearing on listings at steep discounts, with some dropping below MSRP within months of ownership. Owners report significant difficulty finding buyers, even after substantial price reductions, as prospective shoppers remain wary of quality concerns, inconsistent build reports, and the escalating negative media spotlight. What was once hyped as a collector's item now rapidly resembles a depreciating asset. For early adopters who viewed the truck as both a technological leap and an investment, the reality has been a sobering reversal. Dealers and analysts point to a perfect storm of high sticker prices, niche appeal, unresolved quality issues, and a burgeoning cultural backlash. While Tesla has attempted to pivot its messaging, downplaying the truck's sci-fi identity and emphasizing utility, the product itself remains fundamentally unchanged. It is still massive, unconventional, and expensive. The initial fervor has cooled into hesitation, and that hesitation has solidified into outright disinterest. At this juncture, even devoted Tesla fans are asking the uncomfortable question: was the Cybertruck ever truly designed for the market that actually exists? The Cybertruck's myriad issues are compounded by Elon Musk's increasingly polarizing public persona. His outspoken endorsements of controversial figures and movements, from high-profile support for Donald Trump to comments sympathetic to Germany's AfD party, have alienated significant segments of Tesla's traditional fanbase. What was once celebrated as a pioneering technology company with a clear environmental mission now bears the substantial baggage of Musk's political stances. Consequently, many environmentally conscious consumers who once eagerly queued for a Model 3 or Model Y have publicly distanced themselves from the Cybertruck, perceiving it as a de facto rallying cry for views they fundamentally reject. This profound shift in perception has transformed the Cybertruck into more than just a vehicle. It has become a mobile political statement. Instances of vandalism at Tesla showrooms, graffiti labeling the steel Nazi cars and steel lies, and protests at charging stations reflect the profound depth of public anger. In cities like Denver and Los Angeles, demonstrators have specifically targeted Cybertrucks, scrawling messages across their doors or intentionally denting panels. For many critics, the truck's futuristic, armored aesthetic now symbolizes what they view as unchecked corporate ego and a blatant disregard for social responsibility. The tarnished image has even captured the attention of investors. Following the recalls and widespread public backlash, several large institutional shareholders have formally questioned Tesla's governance and brand risk. Analyst Ross Gerber notably commented that Musk's personal controversies pose a far greater threat to Tesla's valuation than any technological challenge. When a flagship product is perceived not merely as imperfect, but as an extension of the CEO's contentious personality, consumer trust erodes far more rapidly than any warranty repair can fix. Tesla is, naturally, attempting to reshape the narrative, subtly downplaying the Cybertruck in earnings calls and refocusing its marketing on the more conventional Model Y. However, these efforts have yielded neither positive press nor effective publicity to restore its lost luster. The Cybertruck continues to be a lightning rod for criticism directed at Musk himself, impeding Tesla's ability to attract moderate customers unless the company can successfully decouple its products from its founder's divisive image. The political fallout generated by such products threatens to become a permanent drag on the company's capacity to launch any future vehicles free from controversy. What stands out is how the Cybertruck has become emblematic of a broader shift in Tesla's public perception, not just as an automotive company but as a significant cultural and political lightning rod. The vehicle's design, once lauded as disruptive, now feels more like a provocation. In online forums and review threads, prospective buyers are no longer debating torque specifications or range. They are actively questioning whether purchasing a Cybertruck signals allegiance to Musk's ideology. For a brand once admired for its neutrality and innovation, this politicization is both unprecedented and risky. In many ways, the truck's controversial aesthetics and audacious marketing have rendered it inseparable from the public's opinion of its CEO. Tesla's former appeal to both progressives and tech-forward centrists has fractured. Green energy advocates, who were once central to the brand's ascendancy, now find themselves alienated by Musk's antagonism toward regulatory bodies and his vocal disdain for ESG, environmental, social, and governance policies. The irony is inescapable. A company that built its identity on environmental leadership and future-oriented thinking is now being rejected by the very movements that once championed it. If the Cybertruck's brand is now more tied to political theater than engineering excellence, it raises serious doubts about Tesla's long-term ability to grow beyond its dedicated loyalist base. The whistleblower bombshell, and just when the TC headlines seemed they couldn't possibly worsen, insiders have delivered information that could transform a PR disaster into a full-blown legal crisis, a whistleblower bombshell. What began as isolated complaints and anomalies discovered during teardowns has escalated into a comprehensive scandal, with internal whistleblower reports indicating that Tesla executives were explicitly warned about major structural flaws well before the Cybertruck's official release. According to leaked documents and employee testimonies reviewed in early 2025, engineering teams flagged serious concerns regarding the bonding method used on critical support structures, including the cant rail and A-pillar, long before the first customer deliveries commenced. These concerns reportedly stemmed from repeated failures during adhesion stress tests and durability simulations conducted in Tesla's own labs. The most damning allegation is not merely that these flaws existed, but that management allegedly chose to deliberately ignore them. Internal emails reportedly suggest that quality control reports detailing pervasive adhesive inconsistencies were circulated to upper management, including individuals overseeing vehicle safety and body integrity. Yet, instead of halting or re-evaluating the production process, Tesla reportedly accelerated output to meet aggressive investor targets and fulfill long-delayed promises. Some employees apparently advocated for the inclusion of mechanical fasteners or more robust structural revisions, but these proposals were dismissed due to cost, design, and time constraints. Allegations of corporate negligence are now mounting. Critics assert that Tesla's primary focus was on optics and profit rather than product safety, thereby gambling with consumer trust and roadworthiness. If true, this reveals a culture of conscious negligence, an environment where legitimate engineering warnings were suppressed in favor of hitting critical delivery milestones. For a company long synonymous with engineering prowess and an unwavering obsession with safety, such revelations cut profoundly deep. The ramifications are likely to be regulatory. Consumer safety organizations have already begun publicly urging the NHTSA, National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, and the SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission, to formally investigate whether Tesla knowingly released vehicles with documented structural compromises. Some analysts predict that class action lawsuits are not far behind. This is no longer merely about faulty exterior panels or disappointing performance. This is about accountability. If Tesla possessed data indicating its trucks might not safely hold together on the highway, why were buyers not informed? At best, this constitutes reckless negligence. At worst, it suggests a corporate cover-up. The timing is particularly troubling. According to insiders, some of these critical warnings were raised as early as mid-2023, months before production significantly ramped up and long before any customers took delivery. Despite this, marketing campaigns continued in full force, aggressively touting the Cybertruck's purported strength and engineering brilliance. This has led some to argue that Tesla was not just negligent, but but actively and deliberately misleading. If company leadership proceeded with full knowledge of structural risks, it raises the specter of fraud, moving beyond mere poor judgment. It also opens a complex legal gray area. Was the public misled through omission, or was this an outright breach of consumer trust? The full extent of the fallout may yet be unknown. Whistleblower protections now reportedly cover at least 3 former Tesla engineers involved in these disclosures, according to sources familiar with the case. While Tesla has yet to respond publicly to many of these specific claims, leaked Slack messages and internal memos reportedly indicate growing unrest within the engineering teams. Morale is reportedly low, and some employees are quietly distancing themselves from the Cybertruck project altogether. The larger narrative might not solely be about what happened to the trucks, but what is actively unfolding inside Tesla itself. Thanks for watching. If this breakdown surprised you, please hit the like button to help others discover it. Do you have thoughts or first-hand experience with the Cybertruck? Share your comments below. We read every one. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our next video. And if you're ready for more, click the next video on your screen. It delves even deeper into what Tesla would prefer you didn't know.